that was a good one. Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Abbott and welcome to Sur La Table. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a cast iron steak. This recipe is more about the technique than the actual cut of steak because it will work with whatever kind of steak you like to make at home. For this recipe, you only need a few ingredients. A steak, I have New York strip steak, vegetable oil, salt, pepper. That's it. Okay, simple recipe. There's a few things that you need to know. One, bring your steak to room temperature. It usually takes about 30 minutes. This is gonna help with getting a more even cook to your steak. Second, turn your hood vent on because it's gonna get smoky. Third, let's preheat our cast iron skillet. I personally love to use cast iron when making my steaks because it retains its heat so well. It's gonna help get that nice crispy crust on the outside of your steak. And because it's so thick, when you add your steak in, it doesn't cool down. It stays nice and hot. While my pan is preheating, I'm going to preheat my oven. 400 degrees. I'm going to start cooking the steak in the skillet and then I'm going to move it to the oven to finish. So before it goes in the pan, season one side liberally with salt and pepper. Grab a nice big pinch of salt. From about 6 to 8 inches above it, give it a nice dusting of salt. You want it to be almost kind of completely covered with a thin, even layer of salt before it goes in the pan, like so. Don't be afraid. This is a very thick steak. This is really the only seasoning on it is going to be from the outsides, so it needs a pretty good covering. I'm going to do the same with pepper. A nice even coat of pepper over one side. Once the steak goes into the pan, then I'm going to season the second side. When your pan is hot, so by holding my hand about an inch above the surface, I feel the heat. I can't let it sit there for too long without it feeling too hot. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Especially with a New York strip, it's pretty lean, so you need a little bit of fat in there to help create that crust. Tip the oil around in my pan a little bit. I'm gonna wait until it shimmers. So if you kind of look off to the side, you'll see the surface of the oil kind of dance a little bit. That's when you know your oil's hot. Take a nice big pair of tongs, grab your steak. We're going to set it down seasoned side down. You want to hear a sizzle when this hits the pan, like so. Nice. Gently press this so you make sure the surface of the steak has contact with the skillet. Now we're going to season the second side, just like the first. From up top, nice even coating, and pepper it. And you're gonna let it cook on this first side undisturbed until it gets nice and golden brown on the bottom side. 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how powerful your stove is. So I'm gonna let it sit and I'm gonna check it in a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'm gonna take a peek just because I'm curious and I'm a little impatient. Starting to get a nice brown crust. I want to take it a little further, so I'm going to set it back down. Again, lightly press. I'm not squishing it, just lightly pressing it so that the steak really has nice contact with that skillet. I'm going to set it in there for about another 2 minutes or so. I really want a deep golden brown crust. Okay, I'm going to check it again. Grab my tongs. There we go, nice brown crust. I'm gonna flip it. Again, lightly press, not squeezing it, just making sure it has good contact. My steak has been cooking for about a minute, minute and a half. I just want to start getting that sear on this side, but now I'm going to turn off my heat and pop it into my preheated oven. Always using a clean, dry kitchen towel or an oven mitt to help you with this. The handles do get hot. So I'm going to open up my oven, then take my pan in. I'm gonna let it sit in there for about 6 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna start taking its temperature. All right, it's been about 6 minutes. I'm going to grab my steak and take its temperature. I'm going to leave my towel draped over the handle. I do that so I remember that this pan is very hot. So now I have my instant read thermometer. I'm gonna take my tongs, grab my steak. I'm gonna come in from the side and I wanna try to get to the most center part of the steak. And I'm looking for between 120 and 125. I'm at 120 on the dot, which that's rare. But with carryover cooking, it's going to increase in temperature and bring it closer to 125, which is medium rare, which is how I like my steak. So just gonna let it sit in there for about 30 more seconds, just get a little bit more heat, and then I'm going to transfer it to my cutting board. I'm going to let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes before I slice it. And look at that, I have beautiful golden brown crusts on both sides. That's gorgeous. So now I let it rest. I resist the urge to cut into it for 5 to 10 minutes. This is pretty thick, I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. Okay, now is the moment of truth. My steak has been resting for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to slice it. I like to serve my steak sliced. I'm gonna look for the grain. I see it's running this way, so I'm going to cut across it. Ooh, nice. About 1/2 inch thick, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick slices. Lovely, it's nice and pink. Cut all the way through. Nice sharp knife is the key to this. Long swooping motions. Like so. Oh, the crust is nice and crisp. Inside is perfectly cooked. I like to present my steak like this. I'm just going to rearrange it, make it look pretty again. Fan out my pieces a little bit, like so. Here is my cast iron steak. You can serve it like this with a side of mashed potatoes, some vegetables, salad. My favorite way is to go pretty classic French and have some homemade frites that I have right here, served in a little parchment roll, and truffle aioli. Enjoy. For recipe videos, cooking classes, and more, visit surlatab.com.